To grow, we need to be ready to adapt and change. So, some more good news is now Be the Good. Same positive vibes, just a name all my own. Be the Good is all about people doing good in the world while following their passions. Good for their own souls and for others. I'm Cherichello, and welcome to today's episode. Let's spread a little more goodness in the world.
Okay. Well, welcome back to Be the Good. I am so happy to introduce you to Bethany and Juanita of Soul to Soul Life Coaching. They are talking with me from California today. And that's all I will say. I will let you do the rest of the intro. Who are you and what do you do in your own words? Go for it.
Well, I'm Bethany.
And I'm Juanita.
And together we are
Soul to Soul.
We'll put that in there. And we honestly we just put some goodness in the world every day just because of what our world looks like and kind of some parts of where our past has led us through. Just kind of had this little seed that was planted, and then all of a sudden it's kind of grown into this little baby plant that we're nurturing and wanting to grow a lot more. So we're just kind of growing some goodness in the world.
Yeah, growing some positivity.
Yes.
That's what we like.
You know, we love that here. Great. So can you tell me a little bit more about your path to starting your life coaching business?
So here's what happened is when I lived in California, there was a lot of drama happening in my life. My mom passed away, I was getting divorced, there's a lot of other bumps in the road, and I truly just needed a break. So I moved to Colorado, which was a double-edged sword because it brought on this, but it was a really huge darkness and a whirlwind for myself. And I was away from all my family, away from my kids. They started having kids, and the relationships I went there for weren't working out. So it was almost like, it was just so overwhelming. So what I would start doing in my classrooms, because I work with special needs students, and a lot of them are the emotional students who really get just have a really hard time with seeing positivity in the world for sure. So we started doing quotes every day on our board. So we would talk about like what's some goodness, and I'd make a quote or we'd find a quote and we'd talk about what that means to them. So it kind of started to make, to get me going in the morning, kind of out of my little darkness, being away from all of my family, and just continued. When I got back here to California, I connected with Juanita and I said, hey, this is something that's helping me. How do you like it? What do you think? And it just developed from there, just to be an everyday, not just for us, but for everybody. And it's been really kind of fun.
And we've known each other since she was 14 and I was 19.
Yeah.
So we sort of grew up together. And when she said that, I was thinking the same thing, like there's something missing. My husband is in the military, so we traveled a lot, and I've seen a lot of broken marriages because, you know, one of them is gone and just the space and everything. And so with the children, I see a lot of suffering because one parent just decides, oh, I need to go start something new over here. But then you're leaving these human beings out of your life that you can't. So that's why I started seeing a lot of that. And then I work in education. I still work on a military base and I still see that. And I want to be there positively for the children and the parents. You need to co-parent. These are human beings, whether you like each other or not. So that's where I come in, and then we kind of just mix it all together.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like a really perfect team up and mixture of a lot of different experiences that you're putting into goodness.
Yeah. And that's what we want, because, you know, these are human beings, and be kind to one another, even whether you, and my, you know, like in the divorce situation, whether you like that person or not, it's not even about you anymore. It's about your child. So that's, you know, and then all the motivational writing that she does. So we try to kick it all together.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good. Good. You have to have fun with it, right?
Oh yeah, we have fun.
Well, hey, I have to ask, now because we've been in a pandemic for a year and a half, going on a decade, and what has changed in your world with what you're doing? Like, how are you connecting with your clients? Has anything changed even for the better that you might continue? Or is there anything you just can't wait to get back to a sense of normalcy about?
Yeah, so I'll kind of take on that a little bit. We started because we're still babies. We're about 2.5 years old, I think,
Right.
on this level. We were doing it no matter what, but to get it to actually get its name and really start presenting ourselves as that life coaching piece, it's about 2.5 years old. So we're still babies in it. And what happened is when we first started out, we were having really cool workshops at my house, which was about 12, 15 people at a time, which is totally cool. So what we do is they come in, we do our little spiel, we pick a topic or a quote, and we kind of roll with that. What's that mean for everybody? We'd have lunch, so there's lots of conversation going on. And then we'd have some sort of art project or something. So we still can connect with those conversations of, it's not just us giving that teaching, it's us peer teaching with each other and grabbing other ideas. And that, I don't think anything can ever replace that connection face to face where you really go those aha moments. Because during Zoom, we tried to do a few of them and they're a little tricky because you can't really interrupt or you can't go, oh my gosh, and it's hard to hear the other person. You're trying to talk one at a time. That has really been kind of the for us.
Right.
Yeah, and we're school teachers too, so trying to do this teaching was really tricky.
Because that was new in the whole
Yeah,
mix.
so we're just kind of like, we're rolling through all of that.
I mean, we still get out there though. We pass out, little.
Yeah, so here's the good that came out of it. Here's the better piece, and I forgot to bring one. So we have pens and we have our bracelets and we have things like that we leave like just kind of around. And I thought, a pandemic, we need to get something a little different because being able to like be in someone's presence, like totally in their face, was a little tricky. So we started ducking people, like not ducking like duck, but like ducks. So we would
like little rubber ducks.
Yeah, little rubber ducks.
Rubber ducks.
So we put our business card on that, and then little sayings that you're ducking amazing. So we just duck people. That way we're not passing them hand to hand. They sit out on cars for a while when we go out to different places.
To the mall, we'll leave them
We'll
like
just
by
leave
the
them.
trash can. We'll leave them over there, and we sit back and watch who picks it up, and they look at it and they smile.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and they'll like show whomever they happen to be with, and you're like, oh, they smiled today.
Yeah.
So then we
our
next
because sometimes
our next drop off.
Yeah, if you do. I feel like if people do business cards, it's like, oh, it goes in your wallet. But if you have somebody you're like, oh my gosh, like this is kind of an amazing piece. Because then someone says, oh, where'd you get that? And then you have those bigger conversations. And then if they happen to pop onto a quote or a saying that we've done or a TikTok, it just can just spread that as a ripple effect. So I just think
that on the bottom, there's a motivational little saying on the bottom of the little ducky.
Yeah.
So
it's fun for us. And I feel
it is fun. We get all giddy when we see somebody like
if we grow ourselves and we be that example and that light, it just kind of reflects. So yeah, super fun.
Oh, fantastic. So leaving around little messages of hope and positivity throughout.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wherever we go.
Yeah.
Like we go weekends away.
Yeah. Or trips.
We take them to other states. We take them to other areas.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome.
What a fun idea.
Yeah. It's totally fun.
Well, that's a really good leadway into my next question, and it answers part of it, but I'm sure you have even more. What examples of that, I like to say goodness, like positive effects, positive changes you've seen with your clients, and obviously don't be too specific with people, but stories of that, or even in your own life. I know that you had mentioned a bit about your path there, but feel free to take that where you'd like.
Well, I think personally, I think when you are just filled with your own joy and positivity, there's not a whole lot you have to do. The smile is like the biggest thing. I continue my quotes even now at my school today. So a lot of times the teachers will come by and I just wanted to see what you wrote today. So for me, it's just that chain of events that you just put it out there a little bit here and there, being able to connect with people and not expect anything back. So if you're smiling, if you're handing little things out, we wear our shirts, and so people just ask questions, and it's never to be like, oh, hey, we need you to come do a session. We just want to give you something. Hey, go check it out. Just go get those motivational boosts in the morning and get your day started. So I think a lot of it is just being able not to sell who we are, but to sell the product of positivity, and there's good in the world, and there's still that light. Even if you're in a breakdown, you're going to break through. So I just feel that we kind of are it. We just kind of bring it out there, and people take the chunks they want.
Yeah, and in my case, I have a client right now, and it's taken like almost 2 years to get to them to where they're at.
Yeah.
I would constantly send them, motivational messages. How you doing? I'm here to help. Anything you need, that I can do, I can help with. So, I mean, they're slowly coming, because they're starting to leave all that stuff behind, and, they're starting to get connected because, they have children, and that's what I'm focusing is on your children. I don't, what was going on here is not my issue, not my problem, but they're slowly coming together to work with the issue. And that's because I think we don't ever give up. We just keep, even if they don't respond, I keep sending them messages.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, we can do this. Just take your time. We'll be there. And I'd send messages to both of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's because we just kind of I think us as parents, raised our kids, and we know what it's like to have a loving parent there, and two, and some, so that's where I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for the children.
You almost have to take the role of, what would I do if this is my mom, sister, brother, child? What would I do? What would I expect for someone to give to them? That's what you want to give back. And as she said, somebody that you keep sending those messages. We did a podcast not too long ago, and I actually listened to it. But it's like sometimes someone's seeds are just buried so deep, you just have to keep watering and nurturing it for them to grow. So it really is just that consistency of what they can count on, or whomever you're working with, to be able to have them grow and trust that process. So
yes. Three things that I want to say again, because it's just so important. You made it, you painted the picture of being someone to make sure that others know that they are needed, right? Like you reaching out and sending messages, even if you don't hear back, that person knows that they are needed and they are loved. And that's so huge. And the consistency that you just mentioned, Bethany, I love that. That is so needed, just consistently reminding and being there. And then the third aspect is, again, what this whole show is about, and how an individual can make a positive impact, whether or not your job consists of being that, right? You both have a career that's all about helping others, which I love, but you also have spent a lot of time talking about things that had nothing directly to do with your job, right? You putting rubber duckies might end up paying off for you in a monetary way and getting clients, but really you just did it to make sure that someone's day was a little bit better. And those are those aspects, right? Anybody could do that. And it's so, thank you so much for reminding people that, those quote unquote little things can make such a difference in someone's day.
Yes. I think in our experience, we've had these couple conversations. Do we want to, after our careers are done in education, kind of continue this? Absolutely. We're trying to grow it. But if you go, my opinion only, if you go in it for the monetary piece, instead of the ideas that you have, like the foundation of us being able to help people and move them forward on their path, if you go in with that idea, whatever's going to come is going to come tenfold. If you go in saying, I'm going to make tons of money doing this, it's going to be a wonderful ride, but how long is that ride going to last? So I want to make, we've talked about making those lasting, just lasting connections, impressions, and footsteps for people to follow. So I think that's our foundation for sure.
Right. And also we did it for each other because we felt something was missing And so we kind of like, oh yeah, maybe, you know, we need the positivity in our lives too. So that's, you know, we get a joy out of it. I mean, we crack up every day and we're like, hey.
Yeah, it's so fun. It really is.
Is what we all want, right? To have a job that we love as well, you know? And so you're not just doing an 8-hour day of something that's making you miserable. You know, you're helping others, but you're helping yourselves as well.
Right.
Wonderful.
I think that just comes from almost being, what do we need to be as people being fed? Like were we missing? What were our voids? And just kind of expand on that, because at some point, if you shoot an arrow in the sky, it's going to hit something. So, you know, someone's going to get some message from that.
Yes. Well, I have one last question for you. You have given me so many amazing quotes and kind of thoughts for life. Do you have a favorite one that you keep coming back to that you'd like to give us?
I think there's tons of them that we use, but we've come up with one that just lately that we just say all the time. And I'm going to give you some background a little bit, if that's okay. So here, Please. Everyone says, have a good day. Who you say that to may be having a horrible day. And when you do that, they're like, I can't get out of this spin. So we've been saying, hey, have the day you deserve. It gives a different spin on, hey, I don't deserve to feel bad right now. I don't deserve to feel like in this grief. I'm going to have the day or life I deserve. So we've been, that's our new quote is, have the day you deserve.
I like that.
Like, oh, okay, I'm going to go, you know.
And it's not on. I heard a couple different people on TikTok say something similar, and I liked it. So I don't want to say that we just said this, but it's been going around, and I definitely think it made me change my thinking of, yeah, have the day I deserve. I don't deserve to feel bad because this didn't go quite right, because 90% of the things went right, just that 10%, and that's okay. So just gotta have that day you deserve, for sure.
You deserve. So good. What a way to make people stop and think about their day.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I can't thank you enough for talking to me today, Bethany and Juanita. Hey, where can everybody follow you online?
So you guys can find us over on Facebook, Instagram,
and TikTok,
and over on Anchor Podcast. You can find us over there. A lot of fun, a lot of just goofiness, but I think a lot of it just hits people right where they need it. I know I go back over to some of those podcasts and listen to my own message because I need it.
Thank you. Have the day you deserve, which is an absolutely magnificent one, I am sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting us on.
Thanks so much for listening to Be the Good with Kate Cherichello. Whether you're listening on YouTube or via podcast, it would mean the world if you liked, subscribed, and or left a review. You heard about the good? Now go out and be the good in your life this week. If you have stories of good news that need to be shared, please send me a message. Thanks again, and have a great week.